Hi, my name is Alec Kurkjian, and I'm a senior in CSUN's kinesiology program. Today, for my Kin 410 Aspects of Sports Psychology class, I'm going to talk to you guys about communicating with athletes properly, about injury, playing time culture, game setting, what to do as an athlete in the classroom, on the court, on the field, and off the court as well. So, in this class, we learned that there are several forms of communication. The first being the one-way street, one-way communication. So if I was a coach or trainer, what I say goes. It's my way or the highway. So if I want to see something done a certain way, I tell my athletes, hey, listen to what I have to say, and what I say goes. That's a very autocratic approach. I don't agree with this form of communication, but oftentimes there are several coaches who that's what they do. They don't empower their athletes, they don't empower their students, and that's what they go with. Second, we learned about two-way communication, which is basically a two-way street. It's a much more appreciative form of communication, a much more nurturing form of communication. So you speak, the athlete listens, then when you're done, the athlete speaks and you listen. This is a much better form of communication because if you empower your students, if you empower your athletes, if you empower your patients, then they can give you and tell you what they feel and what they know. If you just want to talk the whole time and don't listen, then you're not going to accomplish anything. You're not going to get the respect of your athletes. And finally, we learned about nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication may be the most important of them all. Sometimes you can walk in and you see your athletes pouting, their shoulders are shrugged, they're not looking at you, not making eye contact, they're not sprinting or they're not working hard. They're kind of dogging it, as we say in the sports world. And that's right away as a coach or trainer, you know that they're communicating poorly with you. So as a coach or trainer, you have to be able to non-verbally communicate positive feedback. You can't walk in with your arms crossed, with a hat on, without making eye contact, with making vulgar moves with your hands or anything in that realm. You need to be positive. You need to have your shoulders up, making positive eye contact, having good posture, and being a role model physically. Because oftentimes when kids walk into the gym or out to the field, and if they see you and your staff positive, running, sprinting, speaking, or not, maybe not even speaking, but looking around in a positive manner, then they'll respond to that. So if you work hard, they'll work hard back. So there's an old myth that if the head coach allows his assistants to jump into practice and run with the kids, then the kids respond properly to that. But if all the coaches are sitting down on their phones, not making any verbal communication, and the nonverbal communication is poor, then the athletes will give you poor feedback back. So for this video, as I continue on here, I'm going to be role playing as a coach, a trainer, and as an athlete on what to do and what not to do when returning from injury and other aspects in the sports world. So for the first role play, I'm going to be role playing as an athletic trainer in a high school setting with one of my athletes who just got hit in the head during a basketball game, and I think he has a concussion. So the first role play is going to be what to do when this happens. Role play is going to be starting now. Mike, I think you have some concussions. What? What's that? You have some concussion-like symptoms. So Mike, here's what you have to do. You have to stay here with me. I have to make sure that it's safe for you to go home. But first, I'm going to call your parents. So as an athletic trainer, I'm going to call your parents. I'm going to make sure you set up a doctor's appointment. After that, if the doctor clears you, you have to see a neurosurgeon. When the neurosurgeon clears you, we have to go through a trainer's protocol, starting with 15 minutes on the stationary bike, followed with non-contact, followed with contact, and then we can get you back onto the practice court. After the practice court, we can get you back onto the actual game settings with contact. If we don't follow this protocol, then there's a chance you could be out for a really long time. Concussions aren't a joke. But coach, I want to play now. Why can't I play now? Mike, you can't play now. There's a certain protocol we need to follow, and I have to call your parents. I'm communicating with this to you now, so you know. So you don't just show up to practice tomorrow and play. And I'm going to let your coaches know too. It needs to be a two-way communication. Here's your list. Parents, doctor, neurosurgeon, trainer's protocol. This may take up to 2 weeks. You have to fill out a symptoms checklist. This is no joke. But coach, I want to play. Mike, you will play, but we have to get you right first. So that concludes my first role play. So when you're working with kids, they're going to be stubborn. They're going to want to get out there and play. But you have to know that there's a protocol, especially when in terms of concussions. Concussions are no joke. So as for the second role play, this is what you should not do as an athletic trainer. Again, dealing with Mike and the concussion. Oh, Mike, it looks like you've hit your head. Well, I think you should just ice it and get back out there. Don't tell your coaches. Tell your coaches that it's just a bruise and you can play. Coach, I can play? Yeah. No worries. You can absolutely just ice it. The swelling will go away and you can play tomorrow. See, that's a very dangerous thing to do as an athletic trainer because you could put a kid at risk. You could put yourself at risk for a lawsuit. You can't just communicate that poorly. So now, that's in the realm of athletic training. But what if we want to focus on coaching? Whether you're coaching in the NBA, the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, overseas for FIBA, or if it's a college or high school, communication is key. You have to be able to communicate with your athletes. So now, I'm going to role play what happens when a kid transfers into a school as a junior and they want to play varsity. Again, for the sake of the role play, we'll go with the kid's name being Mike. Hey, coach, I'm Mike. I'm transferring over from the local public school and I want to play for your private school team. I know there's a CIF list I need to pass, but I think I'm going to pass and I'm going to be ready to go. So I could just show up to practice and practice, topless with shorts and with any shoes I want, right? Mike, this is a private school. We don't play shirts and skins. You need to have your practice jersey on that says the school's name across the chest with the school shorts. You need to have basketball shoes on at all times and you need to be ready to go 30 minutes before practice. If you're not early, then you're late. So that's just a good form of communication when a transfer comes in because oftentimes the difference between a public school and a private school or a private school and a private school could be huge. So as I conclude this video, communicating with athletes really spoke to me because in real life, I am a high school basketball coach and I am a high school basketball official. And it pains me to see the lack of communication sometimes between the coaches. They're either too autocratic, either they're too quiet and reserved, or these trainers just do whatever they want. They're not afraid of the consequences. These are kids oftentimes, even in college, most of the time they're kids, even if they're 18 or 19, they're kids. So if we fail to communicate, then the kids will fail to communicate. And if we're not able to establish a positive form of communication, then we're going to be on the wrong foot right from the beginning. Because if we don't take care of this, then the sport itself is going to be very difficult. So if we can establish a trust or a rapport, as we learned about in this class, that rapport will take you very far in the world of sports. So I'm going to sign off now, and I just want to say make sure you're communicating with your athletes, and best of luck to you as you guys finish up this class. Thank you, Alec Kurkjian.